Hi everyone, today we are going to talk about 10 fun fiber-filled facts, some that might be new to you. You probably know fiber really well due to its ability to help to keep us regular and things moving smoothly through our digestive system. Today we're going to talk about some other things fiber can do, like support a healthy immune system, boost our mood, balance hormones, and other things to support optimal health. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about me just to give you a little bit of background. My name is Nicole Dandrea-Russert. I am a dietitian nutritionist. I have been a dietitian for more than I like to admit, longer than I like to admit, 27 years. And my first half of my career was in clinical nutrition. I specialized in heart disease, diabetes, women's health, and sports nutrition. And I followed what I called at the time the 3 C's diet. I ate a lot of low-fat dairy, chicken, and had a lot of constipation. And that was before I went fully plant-based. While I was working as a clinical dietitian, I was creating dark chocolate treats in my kitchen. That hobby turned into a business in 2009, and I had a dark chocolate company for 10 years. And I'm telling you this, I'm sharing this with you because this is what led to my plant-based journey. Dark chocolate is naturally a plant-based food. Cacao is naturally plant-based. And I was adding high antioxidant plant-based foods to this dark chocolate, like blueberries, pumpkin seeds, walnuts. And through this chocolate company, I was researching all of the benefits of plant-based foods, and I just could not believe the research that was out there to support plant-based eating for optimal health. So I myself went fully plant-based through the chocolate company. I closed the chocolate company in 2018. I still have a great love for dark chocolate. And I will share with you that it wasn't overnight that I ditched cheese and chicken and went fully plant-based and created these elaborate, beautiful plant-based meals for dinner. It wasn't like that at all, actually. I was a wreck. So I came home one night and I said to my husband, let's go plant-based, let's try it. And thankfully he was fully supportive and until I started creating meals, that is. So I think he had his one last plate of steamed broccoli. He was like, if you don't learn how to create meals that are satisfying and like the flavors and textures that I'm used to, then I'm probably not going to last longer than a week. So what I had to do was invest in some cookbooks, some plant-based cookbooks. I did some online research. I took a plant-based culinary course and started practicing and just enjoyed the experience. There were successes and there were some failures, and that's what brought me to today. So now I create recipes for a living. I'm the blogger behind Purely Planted, where there are lots of recipes. There's also lots of great information on optimizing nutrition on a plant-based diet. And I launched The Fiber Effect, which is my book that launched last year, March of 2021. And a newly released book is on the horizon called the Vegan Athlete's Nutrition Handbook, and that'll be out this spring. And then I also develop recipes for an organization called the Food Revolution Network. They are wonderful. I definitely suggest checking them out. It's foodrevolution.org. And I'm a nutrition spokesperson for the Weather Channel, talking about plant-based nutrition to help to combat climate change. All right, enough about me. Let's move on to fiber, all the juicy stuff. So the big ticket question, are you getting enough fiber? The sad fact is that odds are not in everybody's favor, unfortunately, because research shows that less than 5% of Americans get enough fiber in a day. So this is really the premise of my book, to count fiber, not all the time, not every day, but so many of us get stuck on calories and how much carbohydrates are in a food or how much sugar is in food. And while that's all important to know, really what we want to focus on is fiber and making sure that we're filling up our plates with plenty of fiber-filled foods. So the minimum amount of fiber for women, the recommendation is 25 grams a day, and the minimum amount for men is 38 grams a day. Now, these are the minimum amounts. These are based on what should be consumed for heart disease prevention, to lower cholesterol and prevent cardiovascular disease. Many experts, however, recommend more like 40 to 50 grams a day. Now, I will say, if you figure out your fiber intake, which we're going to talk about how to do this in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. But when you figure out your fiber intake, if you find out that you're consuming only 10 grams a day and you try to bump up to 50 grams the next day, you are not going to like me very much. So I don't advise that. Go slow. We're going to talk about tips for going slow in just a bit, but just know that those are the recommended amounts. Okay, where is fiber found? Fiber is found in plant-based foods. So legumes like beans, peas, lentils, nuts and seeds, whole grains. We're going to talk about whole grains more in just a bit. Fruits and vegetables. Where fiber is not found. So meat, poultry, dairy, pork, and eggs. Fiber is not found in animal products. These products have primarily protein and fat. They do not have any fiber. So you're only going to find fiber in your plant-based foods. Okay, so here are the 10 fun-filled facts about fiber. So what fiber may do for you is create a healthy gut, which we're going to talk about all of these in detail in just a second. Balance hormones, manage weight, control your blood sugar, reduce your risk of lifestyle diseases like cancer and heart disease, improve your cognition, boost your mood, sleep soundly, and support your immune system. So, number one, creating a healthy gut. A lot of times I get the question from clients that I see, what's the best probiotic supplement to take? And honestly, I don't recommend probiotic supplements in my practice unless it's for a very specific condition and we know that this may help a specific condition. Probiotic may help a specific condition. But in general, we really start with the foundation of a healthy gut, and that is fiber. If you're using probiotic supplements and you're not getting enough fiber, you're not really getting the benefit from those probiotic supplements. Probiotics, the healthy bacteria, feeds off of fiber. So if you're taking a probiotic supplement without fiber, those probiotics, those healthy bacteria in that supplement, they're not going to survive. So the foundation is to get plenty of fiber and a wide variety of fiber. Fiber acts as food for healthy bacteria. So the bacteria that may be sleeping in your gut right now, you want to wake them up by eating some plant-based foods. Variety is key. So I mentioned in the beginning, counting your fiber intake. That's good to know as a baseline, but you don't have to count your fiber every single day. Really just look at the colorful array of foods on your plate and make sure you're getting a wide variety of plant-based foods. That's what's really going to help to build this healthy foundation for your gut. Do it slowly. Again, we're going to talk about this in a little bit. So you don't want to add the rainbow all in one day if you're not used to eating the rainbow right now. But eating the rainbow, we've heard this phrase plenty of times. It holds true here, and we've known it to be healthy, but research is showing that it's eating the rainbow, a wide variety of colorful plant-based foods, adds fiber and lots of phytonutrients that help to feed these healthy bacteria in our gut. Next, balance hormones. So eating high fiber foods helps to slow the release of sugar into the bloodstream, which helps to slow the release of insulin, which is a hormone that is good for us. It helps to take blood sugar and bring it to our cells so we can use it for energy. But too much insulin has been linked to inflammatory diseases like heart disease and also obesity. So having a balance of insulin is important, and fiber helps to balance insulin levels. Also, increased fiber has been associated with the hormones peptide YY. These might be new to you. Hang with me for a second. And glucagon-like peptide 1 is also called GLP-1. These two hormones help to regulate appetite. They give us the sense of fullness, and higher fiber intake has been associated with higher amounts or releasing these hormones so that we feel full, we have less of an appetite, and we don't consume excess calories. Balancing estrogen and progesterone. So our sex hormones, you may have heard of estrogen dominance. This primarily can happen with premenopausal women. Excess estrogen can, for lack of a better word, float around in the bloodstream. And fiber, actually, when we have excess estrogen in the gut, rather than being released into the bloodstream, fiber can bind that estrogen and help to excrete it, rather it being released into the bloodstream so that we have excess estrogen floating around. So Again, lack of a better word floating around, but I think you get the point. So it helps to manage estrogen and progesterone levels. Manage weight. So you may have noticed yourself, a great example could be our morning breakfast. So if you have a bowl of cereal that doesn't have any fiber and is higher in sugar, you may find yourself having energy immediately and then a drop in energy shortly thereafter. And you may not be full and you're and sustained from that breakfast. Instead, if you have a bowl of oatmeal that has the oats and maybe some nuts and berries, and it has tons of fiber in that bowl of oatmeal, your energy levels are going to be steady throughout the morning. You're going to be full for a longer period of time. So it helps you to manage weight by keeping you full longer. It also, studies show that when you have a high fiber meal, because you're full longer and you may not go into that meal starving, where we're likely to grab anything in front of us, you may make better choices at subsequent meals when you have high fiber meals. Then I just want to discuss real quick, don't fear the carbs. Carbohydrates get such a bad reputation, and so many people are afraid to eat carbohydrates because they can potentially cause weight, as well as other issues, health issues. But it's really the type of carbohydrate. So the type of carbohydrates that have created this bad reputation are processed carbohydrates. So white rice, white bread, white pasta, all of these foods that have really healthy origins, like whole wheat pasta, if you're able to tolerate gluten, or brown rice, or black rice, or red rice, they are all very high in fiber and nutrients. White rice has no fiber. You're not going to get B vitamins to support metabolism, and you're not getting any of the nutrition. You're only getting the calories from that white rice. That's what leads to excess blood sugar, excess insulin, weight gain, imbalanced hormones. So getting the whole grain carbohydrates like whole oats, whole wheat, farro, experimenting with buckwheat, and teff, experimenting with different carbohydrates can actually be good for your health and good for your gut. Controlling blood sugar. So the type of fiber, you've got two broad classifications. It goes a little bit deeper than this, but in general, you've got two broad classifications of fiber: soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. Soluble fiber is found in things like beans and peas and oats and apples and pears. And this is a type of fiber that forms a gel-like substance in our body, and it slows the release of sugar into the bloodstream. So it helps to control blood sugar. So you've got little spurts of sugar in your bloodstream over a long period of time, which gives you a steady state of energy. It also slows down insulin release because you don't have excess blood sugar going into the bloodstream, or excess sugar going into the bloodstream all at once. And that's the end of it. I was going to go on, but those are the two main points. Reduce the risk of certain types of cancer. So increased fiber has been associated with, or adequate fiber intake has been associated with reduced risk of colon cancer. So this type of fiber is the insoluble fiber, things like leafy greens and whole wheat. These plant-based foods help to excrete pathogens from our body or from our digestive tract and reduce the risk of colon cancer. So again, keeping things moving through. And then hormonal type cancers, we talked about fiber balancing hormones. So prostate cancer, breast cancer, ovarian, and endometrial, fiber intake has been associated with decreased risk of these types of cancers as well. And then also lung and gastrointestinal cancer. So a couple of mechanisms of thought to decrease these cancers. Number one, improved insulin sensitivity, and then also getting rid of the pathogens, of course, in the case of colon cancer, helping to balance our sex hormones, and then also fostering a healthy gut. You probably know that fiber can help to reduce your risk of heart disease. This is the soluble type of fiber, the type of fiber that forms a gel. Also helps to bind with cholesterol and excrete it from the body rather it being reabsorbed into our bloodstream. So things like oats and beans and apples. Now, I will say, again, going back to the variety of plant-based foods, there is soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. There's usually a combination of both of them in all plant-based foods. For example, avocado has more insoluble fiber, but it also has soluble fiber. Apples have more soluble fiber, but they also have insoluble fiber. So it's usually a combination. So again, going back to variety, just get a variety of plant-based foods, and that's going to help. That overall fiber intake is going to help to reduce a lot of these lifestyle diseases. Fiber also helps to lower blood pressure, which can create high blood pressure, can contribute to cardiovascular disease. We talked about lowering cholesterol, and then also managing weight. This is one of my favorite topics, supporting mood and reducing anxiety. This is actually one of the benefits that I found from eating a plant-based diet. I felt that my mood was just more balanced, and I think that also went along with hormonal balance. But overall, what we're finding, there's a lot of emerging research coming out on fiber and plant-based foods in general, and supporting the gut, which produces serotonin, and that is our feel-good neurotransmitter. Serotonin gives us that feeling of calm and peacefulness. And when you have a healthy gut, you're producing adequate amounts of serotonin to get those feelings. So fiber, as we said, is the foundation for a healthy gut. So supporting the gut through fiber intake can help your neurotransmitters, can help to support a healthy mood and reduce anxiety. Fiber also can help to reduce inflammation, which can make you happy, and it can also decrease oxidative stress. So both fiber and all of the phytonutrients, the plant nutrients that accompany fiber, can help. They act as antioxidants. A lot of them act as antioxidants that scavenge free radicals and can decrease oxidative stress. So all of this can lead to a happier mood and less anxiety. And then supporting a healthy cognition. So one thing that's on the rise is dementia, sadly. And I know a lot of us know people who have suffered from some type of dementia, and Alzheimer's is on the rise. And there's a lot of research that is showing plant-based foods to be supportive in reducing the risk of Alzheimer's disease. I put the title, this is part of a title from a research journal. I have citations for all the research that we're talking about here. If anybody wants them, I'm happy to share, but I put this one on this slide just because this was part of the title on this, and I thought it to be very compelling. A fiber-deprived diet causes cognitive impairment, which I thought was very compelling. Of course, I clicked on it right away, and unfortunately, it was an animal study, and we'd rather see more human studies and animal studies for both ethical reasons and because human studies are more applicable to us. But I did find this compelling, and this is just part of the research that's coming out on plant-based eating and fiber and its support in cognition. There are also studies in humans that show that fiber can decrease inflammation in the brain. And again, going back to gut health, it's the foundation for a healthy gut, which can reduce inflammation both in the gut and systemically into our brain. This is another one of my most favorite topics. Again, I noticed such an improvement in sleep myself when I started eating more plants. And when I ask my own clients, about the benefits they're seeing from adding more plants to their plate, the first response is always, I'm sleeping better. Like, it's just the first response. I think it's the most immediate thing people see is they get a better night's sleep. And I love that. I just that's so important in overall health. And it's just so good to hear. And of course, other benefits are naturally they may be losing weight, or they just feel like they have more energy. So lots of benefits of plant-based eating, but this is one of the top. So, excuse me, research actually supports this too. So research shows that diets high in saturated fat and sugar can cause disruptions in sleep. It can also create a difficult time in falling asleep. So saturated fat and sugar, you have less restful sleep, whereas fiber, diets high in fiber can promote a restful sleep. So a lot of people may withdraw from eating a certain time period before bedtime, and that's totally fine. It's a whole nother topic, intermittent fasting, and there's some benefits to intermittent fasting. If that's what you practice, that's fantastic. But if you do enjoy a snack at night before you go to bed, some ideas that can help to promote a restful night's sleep include like oatmeal with some nuts and berries, a handful of pistachios and cherries. These foods also naturally have melatonin, which can help to create a restful sleep. Homemade granola, that's lower in sugar since sugar does not promote restful sleep. So homemade granola, that's low in sugar with nuts and seeds, and then plant-based yogurt with berries and nuts and seeds are just some examples of some things that can increase your serotonin levels to promote calmness and then also support melatonin levels and help you to get a restful night's sleep. And then finally, supports a healthy immune system. So everything we just talked about really feeds into a healthy immune system. Number one, regulates digestion. So insoluble fiber helps to pull out those pathogens and gets rid of anything that's not serving us. So eating fiber to excrete pathogens helps to support a healthy immune system. And then again, I sound like a broken record, feeds a healthy bacteria in our gut. Approximately 70% of our immune system resides in our gut. So having fiber be the foundation for that gut is going to help create the healthy immune response in that gut. Improve sleep, we just talked about that. A restful night's sleep is really important for optimal health. Reduces inflammation, and then especially not the soluble fiber, because this is the main fiber that feeds healthy bacteria in the gut. So again, oats and beans and apples, so these types of things. But again, rather than getting fixated on soluble versus insoluble, it's just really about adding more high fiber foods to your plate, and you're going to get soluble fiber in there. All right, so practical tips. How do you boost fiber intake? Going back to that first slide, like how much are you getting in a day? Hopefully you didn't leave me and start calculating how much. Hopefully you're still with me and can figure out how much fiber you're getting after this presentation or later on tonight or even at some point this week. Just see what your baseline is. Again, you don't have to do this every single day, but just see what your baseline is so that you know if you need to increase your fiber intake for optimal health. So there are a couple of apps that I really like. You may have one of these apps on your phone. So MyFitnessPal and Chronometer, chronometer.com is the web browser. If you go to either one of these apps, write down what you're eating, write it down with pen and paper or put it in your phone or your tablet and just put it directly into one of these apps, and they'll automatically calculate for you how much fiber you're getting. You can also do like a 3-day average to see what you're getting over the course of 3 days. Divide that by 3 to get your daily average, and that'll be your baseline. So see how much you're getting to make sure you're getting enough, and then start adding plants to your plate. So there are a couple of things to think about. Going slow is really important. I've seen some, and you type A personalities, I know you're out there, just give me the diet, tell me what I need to eat, and I'm going to do everything overnight. And this, going from 10 grams of fiber a day to 50 grams of fiber a day is not a good idea. All plant-based foods have fiber and they have their own variety of fiber within them. And it takes your body some time to adapt to that fiber. So whether you're increasing the quantity or increasing the variety of plants, go slow. Go from 10 grams a day to 15 grams a day for a few days. If you feel okay, maybe try another 5 grams a day. And then if you feel okay with that, try another 5 grams. Or you can take the approach of adding variety. If you're already getting enough fiber, maybe try different plants throughout the week, but don't try 10 different plants in a day unless you feel pretty confident you can tolerate that. Everybody is different, so maybe you have a pretty robust digestive system and your bacteria are going strong and they can munch on that fiber and you still feel really good. I will say, actually before I go into this, drink plenty of water. That's another thing. When you boost your fiber intake, you want to make sure you're drinking plenty of water to keep it moving through your digestive system. The other thing is just to be patient. It can take your body some time to adapt to an increased fiber intake and the variety of fiber. So 2 weeks, for some people, it might take 6 weeks. So if you do feel gassy and bloated, don't give up yet. It may be, I mean, there are some foods that some people just can't tolerate. And if that is the case and you note it and you can't tolerate that, then of course, don't eat those foods that you can't tolerate. But if it's just a matter of adding some foods into your diet and you're starting to feel some gassiness through those foods, give it some time for your body to adapt. It is those healthy bacteria eating that fiber that's creating the gas, and that should subside over some time. So be patient. So the three big tips: go slow, drink plenty of water, and be patient as you increase your fiber intake or the variety of fiber. Okay, so some other practical tips: swap whole grains for processed grains. So again, all those white foods, white bread, white pasta, white rice, swap them out. You don't have to change actually what you're eating. Just swap them out for the whole grain versions of those products. If you enjoy a sandwich every day, swap the white bread out for whole grain bread, or swap the white flour tortilla for a wrap out with a whole grain or a sprouted tortilla. Whole grain pasta or legume pasta, they're great options if you can tolerate the gluten in whole grain pasta. And then experiment with different grains like farro and buckwheat and quinoa and teff. There are some great grains out there. And research shows that when you omit grains completely from your diet, or people that take grains completely out of their diet, those bacteria that were once thriving on those grains die off. So in order to keep healthy bacteria thriving, a variety of whole grains is healthy for your gut. Even if it's a small portion, feed those healthy bacteria. Don't peel the skin. This is probably an obvious one, but apples, pears, even potatoes, sweet potatoes, if they're not damaged, you can cut the damaged part off if there is a damaged part, and eat the skin. That's where most of the fiber is, and a lot of the phytonutrients, the plant nutrients, are also in that fiber in the skin. Lean on legumes. So beans can be a source of contention for a lot of people when they start adding them to their plate. I get it. They definitely cause gas-forming compounds, but there are some tricks you can do. Number one, again, go slow. If you don't eat beans currently, don't add a cup to your plate tomorrow because you may experience gastrointestinal discomfort and gassiness. Start with a small amount, so maybe like a couple tablespoons or a quarter of a cup. Don't increase the variety of beans in one day. Start with one bean at a time. When you're cooking beans, soak them in water for 24 to 48 hours. Discard that soaking water, rinse them. When you cook them, add kombu, which is a type of seaweed. Add kombu to the cooking water, and that can help to decrease some of those gas-forming compounds. So give beans a chance. Don't give up on them. Two of my favorite foods, avocado and chia seeds, are two foods that are really easy to add to your plate and that can boost the fiber intake immediately. So adding avocado to salads, to wraps, to grain bowls. Avocado toast, of course, is delicious. And then adding chia seeds to oatmeal, smoothies, making a chia pudding, which is a great snack. One of the tips I often recommend include 3 plant-based colors with each meal. So if you have a bowl of oatmeal in the morning, instead of just oatmeal with maybe a little bit of maple syrup and cinnamon, add some berries to it, add banana, some nuts, some seeds. Again, chia seeds could work well here. If you have a sandwich every day for lunch, just add stuff to it. Add tomatoes, radish, sprouts, leafy greens. So it's about adding. And again, this is what my book is about, adding plants to your plate. So it's more about abundance and adding these colorful foods. So that colorful energy is giving you so much energy in return. Snack smartly. So a lot of grab and go snacks can be high in sugar and oils and low in fiber. Think about maybe what you can make at home. So roasted chickpeas make a great snack. They're high in fiber. An apple and nut and seed butter, or carrot or celery with nut and seed butter is going to give you a lot of fiber. Again, going back to that chia pudding, you can tell it's one of my favorites. So looking for maybe 5 grams of fiber per snack would be ideal. Swap whole foods for oil. This is another one of my favorite topics. A lot of salad dressings, store-bought salad dressings, the base is oil. They often have sugar and a lot of salt. You can easily make a salad dressing or sauce at home in less than 5 minutes using nuts or seeds or avocado or tahini, which are tahini's ground sesame seeds. You can easily make these sauces or dressings at home using those high-fat plant-based foods, it's a healthy fat, as your base. So substituting those for the oil, and then adding like lemon or vinegar, whatever your other ingredients are, seasonings, garlic, onion powder, to make your own creamy sauce or dressing. I've got recipes on my website. There's a plant-based course that is just for sauces and dressings. So after this presentation, feel free to log on there. It's free. You get 5 sauces and dressings that you can whip up in less than 5 minutes, and it adds lots of fiber and delicious texture and flavor to any of your meals. Bake with high fiber flours. So again, like substituting out white flour with like buckwheat flour or oat flour. So using these whole food plant-based flours instead of the stripped white flours. Make a salad supreme. So a lot of times we think of salads as leafy greens or lettuce. So you can look at the bowl in the photo here on the slide. It is filled with mushrooms and carrots and leafy greens, and it looks like bean pods in there and grains and beans. So add all the plants to make a delicious, satisfying salad that's going to keep you full and satisfied and nourished. Bonus, since we brought up chocolate earlier, enjoy an ounce to an ounce and a half of dark chocolate daily. Dark chocolate has prebiotic fiber, which helps to feed healthy bacteria in your gut. I totally approve. It's so good for you. Just look for greater than 70% dark chocolate, and fair trade is so important. So instead of feeling like this poor dog who's feeling kind of in the blues and maybe constipated, not a happy mood, and maybe the hormones are imbalanced. So if you're feeling like this and just not feeling your best, it's time to start feeling like this. And you can do this through boosting your fiber intake gradually, slowly, increasing your water intake along with that fiber, and your variety of plant-based foods. So again, I'm Nicole Dandrea-Russert. It was so good to be here with you today. Please reach out with any questions. My Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter handle, they're all the same, at Purely Planted. You can DM me, visit my blog, or you can email me as well. I'd be happy to hear from you and connect. I can't wait. Thank you so much.